Greetings, welcome to the Lightroom forecast for this very collective general reading for this beautiful new moon in Pisces coming up on the 13th. It does feel, as I've been saying all week in the readings, it does feel like a very dreamy time to allow yourself time leading up to this new moon on the 13th, to really allow yourself time to dream, to image, to imagine. I do feel like it is holds a lot of keys to being inspired in terms of creativity, in terms of even relationships all relationships. There's a kind of Muse quality, it feels, about this time where we are inspired by our connection with other people as well. Inspired by pieces of music, visual artworks, food. It's the whole kit and caboodle, I feel, but very dreamy. I think a general theme. Well, I don't think it has been a general theme for the readings during this week, that the idea of dualities has come up again and again and again. This idea of balancing, of rebalancing some internal dualities or polarities, to find an internal balance. Obviously that requires going inward, but I think this is the perfect time. But anyway, it's very inspiring and very exciting. But we're doing a reading today, as I said, collective reading. Let's get stuck into it. We're looking at, this is what I call my housekeeping spread. We're looking at the currents, general currents around us at this time. We look at placement of choice or our choices. We look at potential obstacles, which in fact can be wonderful advantages, in fact. And then we look at traits for ease to embody. So let's get into it. We'll use the Thoth deck first, and I am going to go back through and clarify each position, and then we will pull a journey map deck and a pixie and fairy for each position as well. So let's see, lovely people out there, in this dreamy time. I can hear the tides are probably quite high at the moment. I can hear it. Let's see for this new moon in beautiful Pisces, the general currents around us at this time, please. Just wait for these cards to jump, if they will. Thank you. Just one card at this time. General currents around us. Wow. We see this beautiful sun. How much more beneficial could it be? The light of the sun blasting germination of seed, happiness, the child on the white horse, memories of childhood, memories Memories are largely can be very beneficial in terms of imagining or imaging or creating thought forms for the future, of course. And we hold memory in our cell and in our very essence. Memory from this life, from past life, if you go along with that sort of belief. But this is such an amazing card to get as a general all-around energies around us at this time. The sun is of ultimate beauty, bounty. It's just amazing. So this is starting out pretty nice at this time. Let's see what our choices are. Let's see what our choices are currently leading up to this new moon in Pisces. I've got one card here. Oh, holy moly. In fact, in the position of choice, we get the card of choice, the Two of Cups. Again, a card of mutual giving, mutual receiving, a card of consummate balance, in fact. This is pretty beautiful, actually. The Two of Cups. It's quite amazing. I think we need a little bit more light. A little bit more light. The sun is out. This beautiful card. And as I said, it's a card of choice, dear people. It is a card of choice. Interesting at this time. We not only have the sun shining directly, but we see in our dealings with others that that horizon line, which is not a horizon line anymore, it's actually a sea of gold, is right there. It's pretty amazing. Obstacles. Now we'll go through, let's get into this. We'll go through and clarify obstacles. So we get 3 cards coming out here. Obstacles, remember, can be advantages. And the moon is, you know, I do these readings at the new moon and the full moon. But of course, there's all these different points that the moon goes through, you know, in between as well. We're speaking of cycles here. So obstacles, we will, I've got 3 cards, talk about them as they came out. The first one is the 5 of Wands. In the Thoth deck, it's called Strife. You know, the 5 of Wands is like a sort of play fight of sorts. Excuse me, it does indicate conflict, more so often inner conflict in terms of dealing with what you need to deal with in your material world with the people around you. You know, there is an internal conflict here, but it is like a play fight. People are delineating their boundaries. You know, look, I was saying it all through those readings, Mars and Gemini. Mars is in Gemini till around the 23rd of April. And I think there's a need, there's a generated need for people to really voice their feelings, opinions, ideas. You know, one would hope in a non-defensive, clear way, without aggression. Anyway, so we get this is in the placement of obstacles. Remember, so we get the 5 of Wands. Traditionally, people fighting with their wands, but it's like a play fight. It is about laying down boundaries, understanding your own and those of others as well. Now with that, so we get 3 cards. With that, we get the 7 of Wands, couldn't be more perfect, which is a card of standing up for our integrity, for our principles. It is a card of assessment. We've had time to really think about what is important to us and what we need to, understanding what we can compromise and actually what we can't. Now, I'm talking, internally here. And to me, in some ways, both cards, but more so the 7, takes into account largely self-esteem, one's own levels of self-esteem, and in fact, what was I going to say? One's ability to stand up for what you believe in, stand up for your own integrity. Now, in doing that, we're not harming others, of course. Then, in this placement of obstacles, these are probably 2 cards in the entire deck that really are quite active. Active in terms of containing elements of conflict. Interesting. Look, I think with this around us, it's going to wash over. It's just going to sort of, whatever this is, I don't know. This is a general, very, very general reading. But with these 2 babies, we get the Hermit. Look, there's a directive here, and I have felt it. I've felt it all week. This idea of understanding our dualities. Think twice. Think twice before you react to something in your external world. I think this is a great thing to try and practice and just see what it is, in fact, that you're reacting to. And more often than not, quite often, it can be aspects of yourself reflected back at you that you're getting really pissed off about, because that's the way it works. So the directive here is to shine a light, first and foremost, inside yourself. Look at those little tricky dicky corners where the dust maybe is getting a little bit too high. Shine a light in there first before you start blasting outward at others. There's a wonderful thing here about having healthy self-esteem, in that you have healthy self-esteem and a large level of conscious awareness of your own behaviours and, in fact, your own archetypes, because that really helps to create to be quite objective about yourself. It helps. So this is really interesting in the position of obstacles at this time, especially with Mars going into, or being in fact, Gemini at the current time. That can be quite a verbally, if I look at it just in a very simple way, it can be quite verbally sharp, quite harsh, Mars and Gemini, because you've got the acute quickness of the Gemini mind with a very fiery force behind it, so it can be quite harsh. But anyway, let's see, traits for success, dear people. Oh, not success though, it's more traits for ease, excuse me, at this time. we see currently, the environment around us, or the general energies, I should say, around us. Everyone's environment is different, of course. Is the sun. I mean, talk about glorious and completely welcoming in new growth, new ideas. Traits for ease and success at this time, please, of this new moon in Pisces for the collective. Traits for ease. Okay. Wow. Excuse me, we will go back through. It kind of works well, I think, to get a card from different decks for each position here, just to give us a good overview. Traits for ease, dear friends. Yes, the Emperor. The Emperor in highest polarity, a kind of benevolent figure. Now, this is a power point, power position, a strong position, a position of knowing where you stand or where you sit. You don't have, it's like you in this card. You don't have. It's what I'm hearing. You don't have petty quarrels. I guess the other side of the Emperor, because it is traditionally this sort of male, benevolent father figure, encouraging a protective and loving vibe, really. The other side of it is like the elements of being a complete control freak. So we really need to balance these, to balance this out. When we see that as a quality for ease at this time, and it's sort of like about knowing that your own, before you try and project anything on other people, making sure that your own internal yard or garden is as it should be, dear friends. So this is quite interesting. It's quite interesting. But let's go through. We'll peel the layer back a little bit. We'll look at the sun to begin with in our general energies around us at this time. And I hope if anyone that happens to be watching this is well and having, is keeping on with everything in their world is okay at this time. Wow, well, I've got a whole bunch. Okay, let's see. I've got far too many, I'm afraid. Sorry, we'll just keep shuffling. We'll just keep shuffling here. Current energies, please, for the sun. So, wow. Yeah, I think at this time we are feeling quite inspired. This queen, the Queen of Wands, is a fiery queen, a powerful queen. Powerful in terms of knowing her own voice, her own ability to create, to get things moving. A very confident character and very much a free spirit. Very, very much a free spirit. She has, as a queen, of course, she has overcome many obstacles to get to this point. And Wands being of the will, of fire, when we're speaking of something like Mars, this is a really powerful card in terms of getting things happening, inspiring other people, because it's not all about us. It's not all about ourselves. Inspiring others at this time. And I do think that this time, currently, at this moment in time, over this week, it is about our connections with others. It's about our heart connections. Our heart connected with our ability to imagine, to let our dreams come through. Yeah, I like it. I really like this feeling. Choice, position of choice. We have the card of choice, the Two of Cups, reciprocity, an offering too, an offering, reciprocity, backwards and forwards. The choice is, it seems, do we carry the burden? We're at the end of it. It's gone. Can't carry any more, right? Can't carry any more. Do we choose to begin a new cycle, or do we continue labouring with this weight on our back? You know, I do see a parallel, a correlation with this in terms of generally what's happened, you know, over the last year in the world, and that people, you know, economic forecasters, banking systems, I mean, generally people in big business talking about everything just being able to plop back into being normal again. We're never going to be I do believe that there's been a tide where people have seen pretty much through, if they hadn't already before this, have seen through the illusionary bullshit in the world. I mean, this is actually, you know, I don't mean to use words like that. And so we want to go back to normal. What's normal? And quite frankly, normal for a lot of people is not great, you know. It's a shifting of perspectives. It's a shifting of what we value is the guts of all of this. And what we value, really, intrinsically, is other people and these heart connections that we have. And this needs to, and is, kind of becoming more and more in the frontal lobes, I was going to say, of people's awareness, general awareness. It's just the systems that still hold on to the large amounts of power, I suppose, do not want to give that up too easily. Anyway, I digress a little bit. So yes, do we continue to carry a burden, or go with our intuitive self, where we make decisions? Now we see the new moon in here. We see the new moon, but in fact we don't see it, actually. We feel it. And again, in the position of choice with the Two of Cups, we see another card of choice. This time round, it's that we're listening to our internal voice, our internal guidance system, our intuitive nature. Our intuitive natures are becoming more acute, more heightened. You know, the cosmic dial has been turned up. I do feel, I do believe. So anyway, so that's, excuse me, that's in the position, excuse me, of choice. Now let's go through to where we're the obstacles. Well, there's always obstacles, and these cards are cards of either internal conflict or rejigging boundaries, standing up for our principles. But first and foremost, for anything to change in the outside world, for any new improvements. I'm not saying the world's a bad place. You know, the planet, the world is a beautiful, amazing thing. In order to make changes out there in these larger systems that are at work, we need to work upon ourselves first. And that's totally right on, it seems. Let's get a little clarify. I don't think we really need a clarifying card for that, but anyway, let's have a wee look at this dreamy new moon time. Yeah, that's correct. Again, you know, we get the 5. We get the 5, the figure going around at the end of a battle, in fact, stealing, picking up the swords from the wounded, from the dying. That's its traditional general meaning. We let ourselves down when we do this, you know. Again, because it's a 5, we come into conflict more often with ourselves and behave in ways that do not honour our integrity. This really couldn't really be clearer. Shine the light here inside. Have a wee look. Be gentle with yourself. Be gentle with yourself. Now, it's, you know, and it's a uber advantage to understand these elements of your own mind. Being a sword, it is a mind card. To understand this and how we all do it in our lives and ways and in various ways. We all do it in our own mind. It is a mind, it is like screwing with your own head. So it's wonderful to understand that because that's when we can alter it, when we can shift, when we can change our perspective. So anyway, I sound a bit blimmin' like I'm on a soapbox or something today. I don't mean to. Let's have a look at the Emperor and traits for ease, sitting in our PowerPoint position, sitting on our own personal thrones, just enjoying it. Just enjoying it. Traits for ease. Just a card to clarify this Emperor, please. Thank you. For the collective. For the collective. For everyone out there in the world. This beautiful world. Hang on a minute. Sorry, people. We're getting lots and lots of cards. Just one card, please, for the Emperor. I guess the Emperor says it all there, sitting on his benevolent throne, I was going to say. Yes. In this beautiful world, there still exists generosity. This is what paves the way. This is what lubricates the pathways that we move in, our relationships that we invest in. This is a card of generosity, the 6 of coins, the 6 of discs. And this fellow, or felless, is very generous because this person is aware that it is a currency. It's a currency that connects. It's a currency that flows back. It's a currency that is like water, and that we must remember generosity, all those wonderful things, you know, generosity, compassion, are far more easily, not easily, but far more able to be practiced, should I say, when we understand aspects of our emperor, when we understand aspects of this Five of Swords, of what we do to ourselves, and therefore what we do project out to others. This is pretty special. So when we feel securely seated, we understand, traits for ease. We understand all the aspects of the emperor, from one extreme to the other. And so those things which can be damaging, like being a slave or not a slave to power, but not being able to relinquish control and power. When we understand this, obviously within ourselves, we can temper it. We can understand why we are like that, and then somehow maybe utilize that as a gift, as a positive thing, as opposed to something that can be damaging to ourselves and to others. So it's pretty beautiful. Here we have this generous benevolent father figure emperor, the consort to the empress, male quality. I kind of just get this thing where, this, I don't know, Mars and Gemini is, doing its thing. Anyway, so let's see, shall we just, it's quite clear, isn't it, today? But in some ways it's quite, it's quite directed out there to the world, to the structures of power, which surprises me because it's such a dreamy Piscean moon. Let's just see. What am I doing here? We'll get the journey map deck, and let's get a few. We'll get a few placements. I won't do all of them, but let's just. I don't think. I was just looking at this position here, and this particular card came out. So we were looking at the beautiful, glorious Two of Cups, with this burden, this past. This is passing, if not already past. It's the end of that cycle. It's gone, it's fizzling out. We're lighting a big fire with those wands under the new moon. That's right. And here, this intuitive decision, intuitive choice. We're using our far beyond our sixth senses now. When I was just sort of looking at that, we get the key keeper. This is a beautiful card. This woman, it's like, when you work away at something, you're really putting a lot into something for a long time. It doesn't seem like anything is happening, or anything presents itself to show you that you've made some difference, or you've achieved something. This woman comes and takes us in and shows us that, in fact, inadvertently, because of our work, we've elevated up through our inner mansion. We've gained access to all the keys that can take us into amazing places of insight, of understanding, of new ways of relating to others. She gives us these keys. It's a beautiful card. And we see at the top, you know, this bumblebee. I know not all places have bumblebees, but we get bumblebees here. The busy bee. Our choices mean a lot, because the smallest decision and the smallest choice has so many, without having choice anxiety, has so many offshoots. The smallest act can have incredible domino effect. Everything is about ripples going out from the center you. Ripples. I love it. It's so Piscean. Anyway, I'm getting swept away in the dreamy nature of this. So we'll look at the position of these obstacles, where it is really understanding ourselves, our motivations, our intentions, cleaning out, making sure our lovely garden is the way it should be before we start poking around in someone else's garden. Yes. Let's see if we can get a card to jump. Wow. Yes, this is a whole new beginning. We see these obstacles like conflict, strife, being sneaky. We see these, but in fact, what we get coming out is the captain. Now, the captain comes to say, look, he's kind of like the fool. We're on a new journey now. Here's the wheel. It's the new spin. It's a new spin of the wheel. We're making different choices on this journey. His place is within and ruled and directed by the tides and by the moon. This captain is a moon child, and he feels the subtle ripples, and he feels the rising and the lowering of tides. He feels the depth underneath. He can literally almost see the magnetic threads of expansion, contraction that moon has upon this planet. He rides it, he goes with it, and it is a new journey full of many new choices here. This is really the beginning to set off this this year on a really good trajectory, I feel. This is just what I feel here. Anyway, we're just looking at this week. Not the entire year, Diane. Oh dear. Anyway, let's keep going and then we'll get a pixie and fairy card just to top it off. In fact, and then we'll just get one little star card at the end, dear people. So thanks for bearing with me. I'm being a bit slow today. I'm swept along in this current. One card for traits for ease for the global community, for the collective at this time of this beautiful, beautiful moon, this beautiful new moon, which is about planting seeds, of course. Plant the seeds of the imagination, of imaginings, thought forms. If you can find If you can't get to the sea or a river, Google something and have it up on your computer screen. If you're in a large city and you can't get to the sea, get the sea up there on a screen and do some nice things for yourself. I think this is a lovely time. So, traits for ease, where we see generosity as a priority. We see knowing our confident seat as the emperor without being a control freak, but being a benevolent and generous fathering masculine figure, consort to the empress, equally, if not more powerful than this emperor. Anyway, generosity, traits for ease. We understand the flow. We understand the ripples, in, out, the magnetism of water, of moon on tide, new moons, new seeds, new plantings. Here we have fruition. There's all of this life burgeoning in this pregnant, gorgeous woman. All life is around her. She's entwined in it. She's part of it. It's a card that indicates often, as I was mentioning before, about work, about working away on yourself or just generally working at some project or whatever it is, at having healthier relationships with others, with yourself, whatever it is, that and you keep going and you keep going, and you at times you find it hard to see that you've achieved anything. Fruition comes to tell you that sometimes a non-event at a slightly later date becomes hugely impactful and important and affects so many different people. This beautiful card of fruition comes to tell us that. Comes to tell us the smallest action can create incredible waves out there in the world. Oh God, it's just so beautiful. I love that. I love that. I think that's a pretty nice thing to keep in mind during these times, during this time. So let's just get a pixie and fairy card from Brian Froud again. So we get this beautiful card. She is the bright mother. Look, there's so much of this going on here. There's so much of this going on. The bright mother is the ultimate goddess figure. She holds that crystal ball. She creates wherever she goes. This is, look, we can, this is all about generating great stuff in our own immediate environments, generosity, compassion, focus, that the smallest act, my dear friends, the smallest thought can create large ripples that go outward. I just think this is a beautiful reading. And we get the captain coming in to indicate that this is a whole new journey. Let's just see. We're journeying. One card, please, for beautiful people out there watching at this new moon in Pisces time. Just one card, please. I'm getting two. First one that popped out. Wow. And this pretty much sums it up, We get earth love. Earth love alert. Earth love. We get earth love. Pleasure and purpose. Have you found your seat of unique personal power yet? Because this is the key. Oh, sorry. This is the key, finding your unique seat of personal power that allows you more compassion, that allows you more free flow, more love with others, dear friends. Oh, and we had one other one that came out. Yes. Yippee. Truth, clarity, discernment. This is it. This is it, babies. But anyway, on that note, dear people, thanks so much for joining me. Do get out or do some creative things or read something that really inspires you. Just allow yourself that time if you can. If you can, just be inspired by this beautiful new moon in Pisces. Thank you so much. Enjoy your week. Cheerio. See you next time.